Welcome to the boombar on Boom Radio NG, reaching you on all platforms, streaming on boomradio.com.ng, on YouTube, on Facebook. My name is Shola Rogers.
And my name is Olatelupo, the one and only. Okay, somebody is angry this afternoon. God help you. The Lord help you also. Anyway, good afternoon. I bid you a warm welcome to the bar today. It is going to be a very interesting one. As always, we thank everybody for the likes, for the shares, for the views. It's not bad at all. And we encourage you to do more for us. We do not take it for granted in any way. Today is going to be very interesting. But there are a few things that I think that is sort of lessons that we're going to be talking about today. There's a lot of updates. There's updates on the arrest on our attacks. I know that now that there are more people that have been arrested. That's good news. There was also a mix-up sometime around that yesterday or 2 days ago. There's been some clarity on that right now. So yeah, we're definitely going to be touching on that. There's a very interesting story of a 21-year-old that is in jail now for, would I say, a very destructive act. Unemployed 21-year-olds that I don't know if his anger or whatever it is at that point is going to land him in jail or has landed him in jail already. We're definitely going to be touching on that as well. Labour Party, Lagos State, we talked about it about 2 days ago where there was issues with the primaries. Then the primaries yesterday. The results are out, but also there is a bit of controversy on that. Of course, we would be talking about that. There's news about the federal government unveiling about 1,130 artifacts. They're talking about it going from school to school. They're moving it from place to place, literally to showcase around the country. It's ours, so it's not a bad idea for that to happen. So we're definitely going to be talking about that as well. So yeah, this a few other things that pops up as time goes on. We're definitely going to be talking about that. So on that note, sit back, relax, enjoy the show today. Also there's a bit of sports here and there that we will try to touch on. Entertainment news, somebody that works for your husband and looks like the wife is planning to send the person to jail. All that. Someone else that looks like is going to land in jail, I don't know, out of jealousy or what's it called, for killing someone else's husband. So these are things that we'll try and touch on today. So first things first, I think that we should start from our church attack, and then there's updates on that. Yesterday there was updates that 2 other people have actually been arrested. And this is a very good thing for me. It's like a lot of times when you hear all these attacks happen, sadly, we never hear anything about bringing people to book. We never hear anything about arresting someone or arresting a group of people. It's almost like as if it's ghosts that did these things, yeah? And then now here we are. There are officially about 7 people that have been arrested now. So yes, I think that makes sense. So what do you think?
It makes a whole lot of sense, actually, because we are in a place where a lot of people felt nothing was going to happen after those guys were killed. We lost a lot of people, innocent people who had gone to worship God in church, and at some point it was looking funny because there were stories of how some people have been arrested, how they were not arrested, how the perpetrators have been arrested, there was a lot of confusion, but now there's clarity, and this is encouraging. This is good news, saying that it's not always the story of how some people committed a crime and disappeared into thin air. So for me, it's what, in fact, if there was a way to celebrate their arrest, I would. And again, I really expect that, the government, state and federal, are going to go all out. I feel by now, for instance, the Christian Association of Nigeria will be all over this story.
No,
is
someone else's party's tickets that
I
they
feel
have
by now,
that they have
being
that is their headache.
the umbrella body of most of the Christians in Nigeria, not all, that they will be all over this. Because they're supposed to be, interested in how this one pans out. You get, but I don't know. I've not really heard any statement from them or read any statement from the Christian Association of Nigeria.
No.
I don't know if you are.
They are busy.
They
are busy at the moment. They have.
But this is really good news, and again, it also puts to bed all the talk and controversies about how we always quickly generalize and pick out one group. Something goes wrong, they say, it's the Igbos. Or something goes, they say, it's the Yorubas.
It's the Yorubas.
Or something goes, they say it's the Fulanis. Before they used to say Hausa Fulani, but now everybody will say this one is Fulani, this one is Hausa. We're going so deep into this.
And it's something that we've always said, that it is about people being bad people. It's not. It has nothing to do with the tribes.
Are your local criminals? They didn't disappear.
It's sad, and talking about this, the governor of Ondo State had come out to say that some of the people involved in this were actually people from Kogi State. From people that resided in Kogi State. It's a very, very sad one. I'm still talking on updates on this. Yesterday, a particular name on the list that were released started trending, Idris Ojo. And it was said that Idris Ojo is one of the people that his name popped up from the list of people that escaped at the Kuje prison jailbreak, which obviously we know that it was weeks after the Ondo attack. And then of course it brought up a lot of questions that what's the issue. And now the Ondo State governor had come out to say that it was a honest mistake, that actually Idris Ojo, yes, is a wanted criminal. He's actually one of the people that were that ran away from Kuje prison, and he was arrested in Akure, Ondo State also, that he was caught where he was residing with his brother in Ondo State, and that he was actually also arrested alongside the people that were involved in this Owa attack. So it was literally like an issue of a list of people that were in custody at a particular time. And there was a little bit of mix up there. So it looks like, I'm not sure that the number of people reduced. I think it's also good news that, okay, more people, because I'm not sure that news ever came out of anybody from that escaped from Kuje prison that was arrested in Akure. That story never came out in the first place. So yeah, it looks like there's less of those escapees on the road. So maybe next time there should be more, somebody.
The guy in question also, like you said, maybe next time there should be more information, more clarity in disseminating what's going on.
Yeah.
But the guy in question also, like you rightly pointed out, is a fugitive, or was a fugitive. The funny thing about it for me is how you went back home, more or less. Like, you're on the run from the law.
What did you think was going to happen? I get
it. You shouldn't have left the prison. Because if you're going to escape, then you escape.
You should look for somewhere else.
You just disappear into thin air.
And remember, and I think it happens a lot, because remember that I think it was someone a set of people that were found in I think it was Kaduna, that were on their way to Kano or something where they lived. And I'm like, okay, it's almost like you feel like, I don't know if it happens to you, but that is almost like, okay, do I have a criminal mind? Because
I think I do.
You can like, okay.
I look at myself, I'm like, thinking,
you should have done this now. You get, that's my point.
Why did you escape all the way from Kuje, then go to your brother's house. Do you
As in, you go all the way from Abuja, then go to
in
Akure, your brother's house. Like,
you should be running
common sense. Everybody knows.
But why are we like this? Why are we promoting criminality?
No, wait. As a security person, security issue, we know that the first thing that security people will do is that, because it's just common sense, a lot of these people, first instinct is to get across to their families. So most likely families of those people are going to be under surveillance. So what do you think was going to happen?
Well, what do you want to happen?
Like you people, like, see, I used to have a friend, or an older friend, that used to say something. What is worth doing at all is worth doing well.
Even in criminality.
Good or bad.
Even in criminality.
What?
You and your friends are
no. Let me break it down to you. You want to break into a bank, yeah, and then you want to steal 5 million naira. You will get caught now. Look for the kind of money, the stealing you want to do, that the minute you are out, you are going to look for a land border,
public service,
from there go to somewhere, then go to a country, get out and go to a country that there's no extradition treaty with Nigeria, and then be living your life like a boss. Then you know that people be like, okay, you say if you try
public service announcement,
but you do it and then you are caught.
Public
service that does not make any sense. I'm just saying.
Dolubo is just talking. She's just talking.
I'm just saying.
This is not a view. This last analysis.
What is?
Does not represent.
They don't need public service announcements. They don't.
Oh,
they do.
You really don't understand that you have just gone on air to promote bad things.
And I did not go on air to promote bad things. I'm just saying,
did you do?
Like, it is just dumb, completely dumb.
Is it not good that it is dumb so that
kudos to the police though, because it shows that a lot of these criminals, when you really think about it, it's stupidity. But kudos to the police. Kudos to the police.
I tried.
Oh my God! Kudos to the police. I think that you know, like we always say, if they do something bad, let's knock them. If they do something good, it was said that there was a joint effort of the police, of the Nigerian army, of the DSS. I think that there's a lot of issues in Nigeria at the moment. A lot of things have. I'm sure a lot of people are working round the clock to make the country safer. So at the end of the day, kudos to them. Shout out to the criminals that are doing stupid things. You know, it's good. It's you're just making the job of the police easier. So kudos to them on that. I think that's all on the updates on our attacks. But at the end of the bottom line is that I am actually very elated that it's just not gist that we hear and then nothing happens about it. I don't know if it is push from the Ondo State governor, or just because this one just happened in a place that there isn't as much as maybe in the north, or whatever it is. And also shout out to the Nigerian Air Force. In Kaduna, I know that they said there's a major bandit that was also killed with about 17 of his foot soldiers yesterday. The military are doing amazing work.
Yeah, the Nigerian Air Force took out a certain Alhaji Shanono, who is one of the biggest criminals out there. And of course it was not just him, it was him and his crew, and this is beautiful.
Yeah, it's good news. Very good.
I was talking to a security expert, and he's like, he hasn't seen the impact of the monies that have been invested in the military. And when you hear about this kind of thing, you start to wonder, like, are we deliberately blanking our minds off, you know, the pros and the cons? Because we must take everything together. Take the good and the bad. You know, when they do well, you praise them. When they do bad, you knock them. That way they can do well, you get. And when they praise them, they can do better. You know, so I don't know. I just want to say, like you said, shout out to the Nigerian military. Again, let's not lie about these things. It is not easy. I close my eyes and I picture myself going to war, going to the war front. Regardless, even if you like give me metal to cover from head to toe, I'm not sure I want to be in that position. So when these guys do these things, they sleep rough, out exposed to all the elements, the rain, the sun, Hamilton, whatever it is, doesn't matter to them. They're not about trying to get the bath twice a day like you do. Some of them don't even think about those things. They just want to, quell the insurgency and all of that. We want to say thank you to the Nigerian military, every single one of them.
Yeah. So moving on from that, and before we go on to another story, I know that this was not even on our lineup, but I'm still going to do it anyway. Special shout out to Senator Chimaroke Namani. It is very interesting. I won't call it comedy. It has been very interesting seeing what he's doing on social media for the past few days. And why I said it's very interesting is because we, especially on Twitter now, our Twitter space in Nigeria has become very toxic. People can't seem to have their own opinion anymore. If some certain kind of people or some certain group of people, if whatever it is that you're saying does not align with their beliefs and their thoughts, then they come at you, say all sorts of things, and basically just try to silence you. And the honest truth is that whether we like it or not, we need to get to a point where we need to respect everybody's views. To me, it might not make sense. My view to you might not make sense, but it does not make it valid. That's the honest truth, is that everybody's thoughts, everybody's reasons for doing the things they do, it might not be right, but they might have a valid reason for doing those things or saying things that they say. Or even if they don't, anybody can say whatever it is that they say. Why I'm talking about him in particular is because he's put out a lot of things, his own opinion on things. And then you see very young people, you see a lot of people come for him, which is something that we do a lot, sadly. And he has decided not to back down, which is what happens a lot. And then a lot of people just back down and let things go. But this our mob mentality. I think that we get to a point where we need to realize that not everybody is going to back down. Some people actually really do believe in what they're saying, and your opinion does not make it law. That's it. Because you have an opinion about something or someone, even if whatever someone else says is superior or not, I think that we should get to a point where we should be able to have conversations and kind of bow to someone else's opinion if they have better evidence than you. And I think that's the way we can grow as a people.
I totally agree with you. You are sounding like someone who just got the Ebano bug.
I have actually. I have.
And you must say kudos to Senator Chimaroke Namani, right? Mm-hmm. So he was part of a Twitter space, or spaces, I guess, yesterday.
Okay.
And he was there for about 5-6 hours. He was there all through, like asking questions and also responding and listening to opinions and saying a lot of things. And one of the things that he did was history. He took people down memory lane. He taught people a lot of things that maybe their parents never taught them and their teachers couldn't teach them. And one of the things that I noticed basically is that we blame young people for what they do, but I think we have to spread the blame.
Okay.
There are people who actually are seeking knowledge also. There are some who want it. Some don't know how to go about it. But some are so lazy that is anything that they see they will take. But there are some who feel that no, they need to research, they need to ask questions. So people were asking Senator Chimaroke
Namani
a lot of questions yesterday, and he was responding to every single one. When someone even talked about David Udain, and the person said he feels David Udain is the purveyor of this. The man shut him down and said, don't do that. That let Udain be Udain. You understand? That he doesn't subscribe to people being censored. I think everybody
should has an opinion, yeah.
And that's why when they were voting for a bill in the House of Assembly about Twitter or social media censorship, he was probably
he was actually like
that
against
told them
it.
it wasn't right. Like, let people speak. He went ahead to talk about how he wants to engage young people, and he also wants to be their friends. He said, look, he's following people back and they're following him, and the thing is that he's actually the one that's benefiting from it, that he's seeking to become a senator again, and he needs people, you know. So why would he shut himself away from people and all of that? And that he just made up his mind at some point that he wasn't going to back down for anybody. He was going to stand his ground. You know, the man is a medical doctor, he's a scientist, he's a smart person. So he bedded down and people were shocked. I took my time to read a lot of tweets, and young people are going, oh, he's not the one tweeting, he can't write like this.
I also said it though. I actually remember I said it too.
But when you
I'm
listen
like,
to him talk and him explain every single tweet, you know he's the one. He doesn't have an handler, he's the one. You know, and it was there that I started noticing the things he was doing for young girls in the society. You know, the things he was doing for young people, young men, also mentorship plans. His plan to give people soccer in different aspects of life. People he's paying different salaries to do different jobs, and he wants to recruit more people. You know, regardless of their religion or their tribe. You know. So he's talked about a whole lot of things, but most interesting is how the young people who are known to bully people off social media could not bully Senator Unamani. He stood his ground and schooled them. Some of them ended up deleting their tweets.
Yeah,
Some of them ended up deleting. There's another one that was like, oh, he's not going to engage him. And all that. And man said, look, you're running scared. I'm not afraid of you. You're the one that's afraid. You know, so my appeal, you know, I won't stop it, is to everybody. Do not presume or assume that you're the only one that wants a good Nigeria. Do not assume that you're the only one that knows how it works and that your candidate is the best.
Yeah, everybody has the reasons for doing what they're doing.
Let people be. You continue to promote your candidate, but do not force it down people's throats. Because that's when results come out, you'll be shocked, because you were all about the force instead of you doing the right things by projecting the good side of your candidates, because there's no perfect candidate. They're all with their flaws and they're all with their shortcomings, you know, especially the fact that the 3 or 4 top runners are people who are actually, you know, governors almost around the same time.
Yeah.
Definitely were not saints in any way. They had their good, the bad, and ugly sides.
Which, you know, is very interesting, because especially maybe the people that were like governors, or other than a lot of them are governors. So you probably could easily put up, and the ones that are governors also were governors all for 8 years. Mm-hmm. So it's easy to even put it side by side, like, okay, what this person do with 8 years, what this person do with 8 years, what this person do in 8 years.
That's a discussion that's going to come up.
Yeah.
There's no way you can avoid that discussion. Mm-hmm. But my appeal is, stop forcing people, stop abusing people, stop fighting people.
Yes, I'm
talking to all supporters of all parties and all candidates now. Do more of positive projection of your client or your principal. Or, because some of them are paid.
Yeah.
or your idol. But whatever it is, you know, make
just
sure.
Let's talk about issues and what is on ground, and let's stop all the noise. Moving off that, and moving on to something interesting, that the federal government has said that 1,130 stolen Benin bronzes and other artifacts that have been repatriated into the country are going to make a tour of schools and the countries as a whole. The Minister of Information and Culture has said this where he was inspecting the Millennium Tower and Cultural Center under construction. He said that when all these artifacts arrive in Nigeria, besides tours of schools, they would be available to the entire public to view, for people to reconnect with the past and history.
Okay, whatever the government plans, whatever tour, whatever millennium house, whatever museum or things that they are putting in place, please get in touch with the Oba of Benin and make sure that you guys are on the same page.
On the page about it, yeah. For me, I'm even,
because you can say Nigeria as a collective, but in reality, most of those artifacts, at least the ones we've heard about, are majorly from Benin.
Okay, I have a bit of what's it called to that, because the honest truth is that we know that it is the federal government has been going on to get these artifacts back into Nigeria, not the Benin government, not the Benin Kingdom. So it could actually also be argued that the federal government got receipt of these things. They actually worked to get it. We've seen even interviews from a lot of the schools and museums that the federal government agency literally wrote to these people to return their artifacts. So I think that, like you said, maybe there will be a conversation around, because I remember that there was also an issue with the Oba of Benin and the governor of Edo State as to where these things are supposed to be. And now the Minister of Information is actually talking about building a Millennial Tower and Cultural Center where some of these things are also going to be. I have another issue with it, and I won't call it an issue. My reservation is the proper keeping of these things. See, as much as we don't like to hear, yes, in Europe, in the US, all these countries had stolen artifacts, but the honest truth is that if these people did not keep these things well enough, we won't have artifacts to recover.
Yeah.
So what is the plan? What's the plan to effectively keep this thing? Because these things are well over 100 years old.
Okay, so again, I'll repeat what I said, because I get your stance, and you think it's a diversion view. I don't think so. I just think it's an opinion that should remember again that the example you used of the governor and the Oba, it looks like they were loggerheads at some point.
Yes.
And who do you think is going to get possession? Is it the governor or the Oba? Do you understand? Because it looks like they're actually in touch with the Oba.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying, that whatever they decide to do, wherever they decide to take the artifacts to, either permanently or temporarily or whatever, they should allow the custodian of the culture to be on the same page with them. That's all I'm saying. I'm not, trying to, sugarcoat or to stress. I'm just saying that it's always good when you carry people along, especially the stakeholders in this whole matter. They had their resources looted by white men who came to Nigeria under the guise of whatever guise it was. But at the end of it, they ended up taking things that they were not supposed to take. There's no proof that any of those things were sold to them. And that's why generations after, years after, they are feeling compelled, to give it back to the original owners.
Yeah.
So if we're talking about giving it back to the original owners, it's the original owners that we should focus on. And they are the people of Benin, and especially under the leadership of the Oba of Benin.
Benin.
So,
okay.
Return the artifacts to them, build your museums, do your tours, do everything, but just make sure that all the stakeholders are on the same page.
On the same page. Okay. I get what you're saying. So let's move on quickly, and let's move on to something that I feel is very, very sad. Where a 21-year-old has now been remanded in Kirikiri prison. The person of Chinasa. An Ikeja Magistrate Court today has ordered the remand of Michael Chinasa, an indigene of Anambra State, that has been accused of setting fire to the BRT bus terminal at Oyingbo during the NSAS protest in October 2020. And this is a 21-year-old who's said to be unemployed and resides in number 21 Ilogbo Street, Apapa Road, Lagos. He's been tried for conspiracy, arson, and causing a breach of peace.
I would like to believe that the person in question, Michael Chinasa, was caught in the act. So there will be proof.
Yeah.
Because in a mob action, we all know that thing happened during a mob action. It is difficult to pinpoint who did what to whom, when, where, how, or why, except there's video evidence and pictorial evidence and eyewitnesses. Do you understand? Impeccable eyewitnesses. So he will get his day in court eventually.
Yeah, according to the police, the prosecution counsel, they're saying that he and others who are at large actually set fire. Unfortunately, in the mob action, according to the police, he was the only one that was caught.
Look, I feel for the guy, but I feel for the people who lost their lives during the NSAS more. I feel for the properties that were destroyed in Lagos and other parts of Nigeria more. So, if the young man was caught in the act, like they said, then if you do the crime, then you must do the time.
You know, it's very, very interesting how he probably was not even the one that
and he probably
struck.
was.
It was probably him. It was probably not. But at times,
the thing for me though is that most times when there are mob actions, riots that degenerate into violence and everything, or protests that degenerate into riots then violence, nobody gets caught, nobody gets arrested, everybody just hides under the
Yeah, and it's sad because but anybody whoever ever gets caught, whoever gets caught in those things is always the scapegoat. And that's why one really needs to be careful. We need to be careful what we do. We might be angry, but don't break the law. Do not be caught doing a lot of things, because if you're not careful, the minute you are caught in between all this, in the mix of this, I know that there was a story that I read this morning also, that I think in Abuja, there was the police had rescued 3 people from being mobbed by a number of people in a particular place. I think they said that they were kidnappers, something funny like that. And also,
so that story,
they were also people were also arrested.
Yes.
For being part of that mob.
Yeah. So again, laws are laws, but the gist about that story is that in Abuja, there's something we call POS in Nigeria. We have a funny way of calling it a point of sales. That's what POS means. But in this case, in Nigeria, it means something different now. POS means a place where you can get to withdraw money without an ATM machine. You get, so it is said that these guys had actually abducted a lady who was a POS attendant, and they put her in the trunk of their car. But an eyewitness saw them and raised an alarm, and because chased after them, and other people joined in the chase, and they caught these guys. There's 3 of them. Of course, mob justice now. They took the law into their hands in catching these criminals. Anyway, what the law expects of us, if you're ever in that situation, is to call the police whenever maybe you've made a citizen's arrest or something like that, right?
That's what I'm saying. That we always take laws into our hands.
If the police had not come through at that time,
they would have killed people.
And it takes you back to the mob justice that was meted out to a Nigerian lady in a Nigerian tertiary institution this year.
Oh yeah.
You know, a lady that even a lot of people tried to save, her classmates and a couple of people.
Weirdly, nobody's talking about that anymore.
They were overpowered, you know, by the mob, the maddening mob that found its way into a school, you know, to kill a lady who allegedly had committed blasphemy. And where are we on that? I know about 3 guys were arrested because they actually were so gracious to help us catch them by making those videos.
Those videos by themselves,
you know,
yeah.
Which is a good thing. And I really hope that the law
That's
comes
the
down
thing. Where are
freely on
they?
them.
Are you sure
But
they've not been
those
released?
kind of cases should be, you know, expedited.
Yeah,
I keep saying
it should.
We need to work on the judiciary in a way where cases like this that carry a lot of tension and everything, after proper investigation has been carried out, you know, the courts should sit and, you know,
things should just move very really really fast. But at the end of the day, please, even if we catch people in the act, yes, they can actually be a civilian arrest, but taking laws into our hands, hitting and killing people, it's actually barbaric. There's no explanation, there's no excuse for taking laws into your hands. So we actually need to be careful. Same now, a boy that I'm sure that there were maybe like 10, 20, 30 people, is the only one, looks like he's the only one that's going to face the music that everybody else committed that day, all in the name of, okay, you're angry with the police, but here you are, you're in jail, a 21-year-old. That's like his whole life ahead of him. So let's move on quickly from that and move on to a bit of politics. Where okay, before we move on to politics, still talking about a few issues. We're going all the way to Anambra State, where the story that broke yesterday that a particular lady had killed the husband to her lesbian lover. And it's very interesting. You wonder like how these things happen. And now looking at looking at it, there's actually more details on that story. The story now is that the particular lady in question, yes, was dating the deceased wife. Then after a lot of back and forth, the wife broke off the relationship, but that this particular woman had been terrorizing them in the house, according to eyewitnesses. And that what happened the fateful day was that the husband was not around, that there was a ward that the wife had that she had sent to buy something, and that is, according to people, that is the usual thing that this other lady would harass and collect the money from the couple's ward.
Yeah.
So this fateful day, the husband comes back and decides to go and accost the woman.
Yeah, because he was called that again, the lady had done what she had done by preventing their ward from going to buy fuel.
Yeah.
She was supposed to buy for the house and everything. If this story is true, because this is just one side to the story, all we've gotten is just a one-sided story all along. If it's true, then she sounds like a troublemaker.
Yeah.
Like,
but the bottom line is that somebody's dead.
There's gist. There's also gist that even the lady that killed the guy, she was married too.
Sure.
But her husband left because of sexual orientation. And of course, this is where we are now. And it was also alleged that she stabbed the man on his chest twice, which must have led to him bleeding to death.
Yeah, because that's the bottom line now. Whatever happened or whatever led to this, one person is dead.
Yeah, so the thing is that there are laws actually, look, not like I support or I'm against same-sex marriage or same-sex orientation or not, but in Nigeria there are laws.
It's against the law.
Against those things. So there is that 14-year jail sentence looming on someone's head already. Even if she's able to beat the murder rap, if she's able to wiggle out of it, we don't know what she has. She might even have evidence to the contrary. But whatever happens, there's still the other issue of the kind of relationship that she's had with the deceased's wife that's led to the man being killed eventually.
It's interesting because I'm like, okay, what?
And that story is gaining a lot of traction.
It is
even
gaining.
Outside Nigeria.
How people,
foreign websites are carrying it now and all of that.
It's a very, very sad one because the bottom line is whatever circumstances led to it, a man is dead. Someone's father is dead. Someone's son is dead. And it's very sad. So we definitely will give you updates on that particular story. And moving on from that, we're coming back to Lagos, where on Monday there was supposed to be a Labour Party primaries, governorship primaries, which did not hold because of some back and forth. And it was very interesting because I'm like, okay, my own question then was that I thought that this thing had closed, but looks like there's still primaries going on here and then. I'm like, okay, so what's the point of the deadline, if I may ask?
Yeah, so there's a deadline, and then there are loopholes. I've been emphasizing the.
No, I get it. That's what I'm saying. That it's hilarious to me, Sha.
If you're going to actually take a look at it, let's now at this moment we're discussing this segment now. We're discussing the Labour Party governorship candidate and primaries. So there is a Salvador, who used to be a member of the PDP, crossed to the APC around this time 4 years ago.
4 years ago,
and it is rumored that he wasn't going to get a shot at the governorship, so he left. And of course, when the Labour Party became the home of Peter Obi and a lot of people support him, some politicians would naturally gravitate towards any platform that they feel that
would give them what they're looking for.
So of course
he did
that. Now, in his own defense, that's Salvador, the former PDP chairman of Lagos State, in his own defense, he is saying that he bought the nomination form before the window closed.
Oh yes.
Submitted it, and he was the only person.
He was the only person that he was just supposed to be an affirmation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But he was shocked when, at some point in time, they told him someone else bought the form again. So now there has to be primaries. And his first attempt at primaries didn't go well, but he said he had 100 delegates, and his opponent was also going to get 100. Then he said before the primaries, his list was doctored and whittled down to 74 or so. And of course, that's why he quickly voiced out his displeasure with the state exco. All he's insinuating, if you look at everything that Salvador said, is he's making it sound and look like
there shouldn't have been a primaries in the first place.
Yes, he's said that, but he's also making it sound like the state machinery of the Labour Party in Lagos are supporting Rhodes-Vivour against him already. That's what he's putting out there.
Okay, I know that we had talked about this yesterday partly, and it was something that you said that I want to revisit, and the truth is that, like the Salvador that has moved from party to party, Mr. Gbadebo Rhodes-Vivour as well was a former senatorial candidate for the People's Democratic Party, and this last primaries he only resigned, I think, a day or two to the PDP governorship primaries as well. So it's not they're not new members They're not fresh members of the Labour Party. They literally moved, and like you said, it's something that a lot of people do to get what they want. So, since those things happen in the parties they're coming from, it's probably a normal thing. Where I have an issue with Mr. Honorable Salvador is the fact that, yes, you picked a form, but the minute that someone else had picked the form and the window had not closed, why are you crying wolf? Unfortunately, primaries went on and you did not win. Why are you crying?
So, again, I read the victory speech of the Labour Party candidate Rhodes-Vivour, and he talked about Salvador, his opponent, Salvador being like a father to him, and how he would go to him and seek his help because he knows he has structures in place and all of that. You understand? I said to myself, you beat me for election.
I would work with you.
I'll backward. But again, isn't it funny how the former chairman of the PDP in Lagos and the top member of the APC for 4 years
cannot win a primary?
Yeah, at some point he was in charge of Sanwo-Olu's campaign in some parts of Lagos.
Yeah, maybe
he cannot.
Maybe that was, I'm just assuming it was not. Maybe that's why the APC did not, because there wasn't so much like protest or talk about it when he was leaving the APC. And then you get to a party first before this other person, and then you still can't beat him. Maybe a lot of people are really not as what's the word now? They are not as big as they think they are. Maybe at times some people like over what's the word now? They give themselves, they're actually bigger than what they really are.
Basically overstate your importance.
Yeah, yes, basically. I think that's what it is. I think that people should be what's the word now? It's sportsmanship, really. It's politics. You win some, you lose some. The bottom line should be wanting your party. If it is really about party and not about being selfish as you want it as your own thing, then you shouldn't have a problem if the what everybody should be working towards is let my party win so that we can do better for the people of Lagos State.
Exactly. But again, a lot of politicians in Nigeria are not party people. They just see the party platform as a means to an end, as a platform that they can, ride on to their personal goals. And that's why when a lot of them lose out,
they make it so much of a big deal. There's
argument, there's a fight, there's all sorts of guilt tripping, all sorts of things is happening. But I wonder, again, I'm not going to let Salvador go so easily. If you cannot win primaries in Labour Party, a whole former chairman of PDP, and he was running, I think, Sanwo-Olu's campaign on the island at some point 4 years ago. He was a top person.
How would you have won an election?
Exactly. Then again, taking a look at the Labour Party itself, now they have a lot of work to do. Now that they actually have a candidate in Lagos that they seem to be very proud of, there's a lot of work to do. There's a lot of grounds to cover, and I wish them well. I pray that they can get it done and get it done well. But it is not enough. There's something now that you see. It's not enough to have a few hundreds of people. You need millions.
Oh, you need millions. You need millions.
So once campaign starts, you all need to hit
the ground running,
and smash the ground and let it know that hey, you're not playing around.
I'm here.
Or else, man, you just find out that at the end of the day, you're just making noise.
I agree with you.
I like to see one thing. I see a lot of young people tweeting and they're like, oh man, they got this. that they got this from here, from this point onwards, it's going to be Rhodes-Vivour as governor. It would be nice if they could actually deliver that.
Pull it off. Okay, we'll definitely we'll see how that works. But you know that there are a lot of things. Everybody, you see people tweeting, and the honest truth, the first thing that comes to my mind is that everybody here tweeting, is everybody going to vote?
Where's your uncle BOG?
Where is everybody voting in Lagos? Do you understand?
Oh,
Even
yeah.
people that are voting, how many people on this, people talking about this person, are actually eligible to vote in Lagos State? So there's a lot of dynamics that is involved. How many people that are on social media going on about this that are in Lagos are actually going to vote? What's the percentage? And even if they vote, what is the percentage of those people compared to the people that do not see your social media talks? That's it. So there's a lot of indices, and like you said, work has to begin now. There's a lot of work. There's a lot of grounds to cover. It is Lagos State. Lagos State might be small, but it is the most populous city in Nigeria, most populous state in Nigeria. So it's not about the ground, it's about the people and how many people you can reach. And the sad part is, and I almost call it the sad part, is the fact that you have to keep people in your minds long enough to get you through at the end of the day. So let's move on quickly before we go. There's a very interesting gist of a Nollywood actor by the name of Moses Armstrong, who has now been granted bail. It was said, this was announced by his friends. I'm not going to say anything yet because nobody's guilty until proven. Nobody's a convict until proven guilty. Or how do they say that thing? But it was said that his friends were jubilating on Facebook yesterday that their friend had been released. The photos of the actor outside the courtroom. There's sort of like a party where it's said to have been in jail for a while now. He was arrested by the men of the Akwa Ibom State Police Command in June for allegedly defiling a 16-year-old girl. Now, it's very interesting because this same person, this same actor, is currently the special assistant to the Akwa Ibom State Governor. What makes it more interesting that this case is actually being monitored by the First Lady of Akwa Ibom State.
Yeah.
He works for the husband. Yeah. The wife is planning to keep him in jail.
So
okay.
We all know how sensitive the issue of rape is, but again, I'm wired already to fight against anybody that is charged with rape. Let's pray that nobody accuses you wrongly, but in this case, a 16-year-old is involved.
So there's no.
Look, it's statutory.
That's already stacked. There's already a lot of things stacked against you.
Yeah. So I don't like that attitude of you were granted bail. You were not discharged and acquitted. The same thing happened in the case of Baba Jesha.
Yeah.
At some point they let him go. Abi? Or at least he was granted bail.
Yeah, it was granted bail at some point. Yes.
I don't know if he made bail, but at least he was granted bail. And some people were jubilating and you don't get it. That's just a part of the whole legal process. Because there's a limited time that it can be held for that crime that is alleged to have committed. But when he was arrested, I remember that the guild that he belongs to as an actor disowned him and said they do not support such things. We need to continually speak on the side of good. He might be your friend, might be your colleague, but if he's done something wrong, you're not supposed to support him. You're not supposed to, because this is why a lot of victims are afraid to come out. People are raped, people go through all sorts of things, but you don't give them a level playing field to at least seek justice. What is wrong is wrong.
What's wrong is wrong, yeah.
And we need to stop this victim shaming and victim blaming that we do while celebrating perpetrators or alleged perpetrators. We have to stop it. Let's be of good behavior.
Yep. So on that note, we are definitely going to be following this. We'll see where it goes. It's a very sad thing that anybody in this world honestly should not be associated with those kind of things. So whatever the outcome is, his name is really still a lot smeared already. I hope that there's justice for the victim involved. That's it, because at this point, these days,
we're not mincing words.
Anybody can be the victim. Yeah. So there's justice for the victim at the end of the day. And before we go, finally, I know that there's a bit of talk on sports and a bit of transfer news back and forth.
Yeah, back and forth transfer news here and there. One of the biggest stories or biggest issues out there is actually FC Barcelona.
Yeah.
They have gone on a shopping spree.
Oh, remember I said this thing like a week or two ago that I thought these people did not have money.
And there are financial fair play rules that every team must adhere to. So they had attempted, it's reported that they had attempted to register all their new players, and the Liga refused to because their books were not balanced in a way. So it is shocking, that they even went that far. You understand? Now a lot of people are saying how they're going to do it. So they're actually on the verge of selling assets. They've told a couple of players to leave, like, okay, just go. But the problem with even some of the players that they want to sell for money is that they're actually owing. There's a long list. There's a list that came out. I believe that list is authentic, where you find that Barcelona is owing some players 9 million euros, 18 million euros. And
okay, so they don't pay them like every month.
You're supposed to, but they started owing and all sorts of things. And again, apart from your weekly or monthly wages, there are bonuses and other things that they're supposed to get.
Okay.
So with all of that, you start to look at, okay,
what's happening?
What's going on? So with FC Barcelona,
maybe they shouldn't have done that much buying, because it was a lot of buying in the past 1-2 weeks, and you're like, okay, what's happening here? I thought you didn't have the money.
Yeah, so that's one of the things that's out there. There are other talks here and there about some transfers, but there are no major transfer movements in the last 12 hours or thereabout. They talk about players like Pablo Mari, Gio Simeone, Wesley Fofana is being linked to Chelsea. There are a couple of players here and there. Ethan Lade is being linked on a loan move. Remo Fuller to Nottingham Forest. So, but no.
There's not been.
No marquee signing
yet.
Anybody.
Shout out to Real Madrid though for winning the Super Cup again.
Yes, that's what it is. So all of that is happening, but we're about to hit a crescendo very soon, because we know that this month is the month of transfers, especially the last day.
Yeah, the last few days.
Where, especially the last day, transfer deadline day.
There's a lot of back and forth.
August 31st for the EPL. That's where there's a lot of balls, and you start to see things happening as if
people were all sleeping.
Were banned before, and they now unbanned it in a few
in 24 hours. Yeah. So we definitely will bring you updates on that as time goes on. But on this note, that is where we'll be drawing the curtain today. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. We'll be back again tomorrow at 3 p.m. West African time on the website, on your app, on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitter, everywhere. We'll be here at 3 p.m. West African time. Oh, tomorrow is Friday, so it's going to be all music, a lot of music tomorrow, hopefully.
Let them release it.
That's why I said hopefully. All right, have a beautiful day ahead.